Guilds in Sea of Thieves allow players to create their own community of guild members, where those social connections can last beyond the session as they work together for shared progress and rewards. Being part of a guild allows players to feel like they're part of a bigger whole, bigger than even just a single crew.
You'll be able to play asynchronously with multiple crews, up to 24 players in your guild, and be able to progress your guild together as a contained goal.
You might, log into the website and check what's happening, and seeing that the guild's progressed and knowing that some of your mates are out sailing right now whilst you're, in a boring meeting or whatever. But it's really exciting that kind of bleeds out into the real world a bit.
All your friends are offline, but their friends are on, and you can see them sailing around in the world. So just being able to jump in and possibly make new friends and connections will be really big for players.
When players first create a guild, they can choose their own name for it and aspects of their visual branding for it as well to really create that personal, unique identity for their guild. And that means that the players can feel like they unite under this one banner that represents them all.
The visual identity of the guild, I think, is a really important aspect of it. Obviously, you start with a name. And then once you've done that, you get to the fun bit of go, well, how should my guild look? How should it feel? So it might be a friendly guild, or it might be a classic pirate sort of, adventure guild, or it might be one that's actually, we just love fishing. So we want that to be all about our guild. First, let's pick a surrounding panel, like a kind of background to it that it sits on. And that, again, is themed, and you've got about 8 different themes. And then you pick a main icon. And again, we've got sort of 30, 40 different icons to choose from. And then once you've done that, you pick a colorway, and then you pick a motto. And so we provide you with a bunch of preset mottos, and you can then, again, pick one that you feel really speaks to your guild.
So you can give off whatever vibe you're trying to feel, really. You can give off an aggressive vibe, a friendly vibe, something more amenable to other players. Whichever sort of play style suits you, I think there's a good range of choice within the system to really cover that.
But, don't worry, because you can always go and change it. If it's not actually what it wants, where your guild evolves, you start off as peaceful fishermen, and now we're, killing skellies left, right and centre and attacking players. You can jump back in and you can rebrand your guild, change those things to kind of match where your guild is at now.
So with the introduction of guilds, it takes captaincy from your ships to our ships as you enroll ships into the guild's fleet, and that means they can earn guild progress. You can also share your ships with the guild, so guildmates can take them out even when you're offline and progress your ship and its milestones even when you're not there.
Building off the persistency we added in captaincy around the saving of loadouts and other things which won't exist outside of the actual game session. So in guilds, obviously, it's being able to connect with other players, see other captaincy ships sailing out in the sea without actually joining the game. I think the most tricky thing was working together with all the other teams. Captaincy and guilds has been a big feature between all the different departments, services, UI, gameplay, and many other teams. I think the main thing was us all coming together and working out what we need to provide each other to get the job done.
And as part of that, we kind of had a bit of a tricky decision to make around where your ships lived within the menu when you first come into the game. And we made the kind of decision that when you pledge your ship, that actually that ship moves from the captain's ship area to the guild's area, like we actually move it. And so when you share it, it's a big decision, so you've got to think about that.
I think a really core fantasy for any pirate is the ability to fly your own colours. And that's exactly what we wanted to achieve with emissaries in guilds. Guild emissaries are special in that they don't have a specific type of activity that you do. Being the middlemen for all of the other companies, the sovereigns act as your base to start your emissaries from, to fly your colours.
It allows, again, for you to be able to progress as a group together, increase your guild reputation, but also feel like you're getting more out of your guild play. And it's a goal as well for guilds to obviously unlock at a certain level. So the guild emissary is very similar to a trading company emissary, so players will be able to understand and pick it up pretty easily. Of course, you can take part in leaderboards and the ledgers every month, but collectively together. So instead of your player name being on the leaderboard for your position, as per with other trading companies, you will be representing your guild as a whole. So your guild will place on the ledger and rewards will be distributed amongst players appropriately based on the final position.
The Guild Emissary Ledger works in the same way as the other trading companies in that it has a unique track of rewards for you to earn. So if your guild earns that progress, you will earn those rewards. And there's some really awesome rewards in there. My favourite are the new animated paintings.
For example, you might see 2 battling ships, or it could be a magical underwater scene with different elements moving, or constellations moving across the sky.
Once players have earned 100 levels of reputation in their guild, when they complete that 100th level, they will automatically earn a distinction, and then they'll be at reputation level 1 in the next distinction track, and they can earn 10 distinctions in total.
Players will find levelling up in their guild will unlock them lots of rewards. That will include some very interesting new cosmetics that you can don when you're sailing for your guild. Alongside that, of course, access to the guild emissary. And then on top of that, you also have a guild plaque on your ship. So other players who board your ship can see who you're representing and how well you're doing.
So the guild plaque is the big, impactful new visual element that will be added to all guild ships every time you pledge one. And it shows off the guild's name, its progression, and some of its visual elements as well.
You'll see a Roman numeral tick up, and then every 3 levels you will progress from bronze, silver to gold. So there's a nice quick element for other players to see that can easily tell them what sort of guild you are and the level of experience you'll have.
So as guilds progress, they'll unlock a selection of new outfits for their current members to use when they're playing for the guild. We think these outfits are super fun, especially for those players who love to really indulge in that crew roleplay.
Guild role costumes, which is the kind of my favourite part of the guild, is allowing the players to role-play each role within the ship. There is the helmsman, the cannoneer, the navigator, and the chef. So these roles kind of cover the core roles that players tend to fill in with Sea of Thieves and allow people to embody that a little bit more, and as I say, act as a bit of a reward as well for their achievements.
Players can personally unlock a series of commendations when they're representing guilds of different distinction levels, and over time, this will build the Unbroken Bonds ship set. The Unbroken Bonds ship set, we really wanted it to represent friendship and the ties and bonds of friendship.
And then the colour theming being the orange and blues is just a nice, warm, inviting feeling, which I think is what we're trying to get with guilds, is this sense of community and warmth that guilds will have to one another. Fingers crossed.
When you're part of a guild and you go to set sail in a new session, you will actually be able to see all of the ships that belong to your guild, whether they're out at sea or not, and who's on them as well. This really offers you much more opportunity for that social connection with the members of your guild.
And those ships have a status, so you can see that a ship is out at sea, and you can see maybe who's on it. Whenever you see a ship that is joinable from the front end, and we will tell you that, you can just jump in, hop in, and load into their session and play, which is something that we've never had before. You're not all playing at the same time, but the idea is, how do we make it feel like you're all in one thing? How do we expose the life of the guild to everyone? And that's where Chronicles comes in.
Guild Chronicles are a home for all the information about your guild. You can see key information about new players joining, new ships being enrolled into the guild.
I think it's this sort of shared experience and common goal across a guild that really adds to this sort of asynchronous gameplay where one crew can be online playing and another crew can be achieving the goals and vice versa, which really adds to this team spirit and this sort of teamwork that Sea of Thieves really fosters.
I'm really looking forward to seeing players set sail as a guild emissary, but also being able to join other active sailors when they look into their guild to see who's online.
I'm looking forward to seeing players joining other guildmates setting sail, people they've never met before, and just having a new social connection.
The part I'm really looking forward to seeing is players really embodying those guild role outfits. I think that can really help define the ship's roles, which we all know is so important in Sea of Thieves. And as I say, add a fun role play element, and I think everyone enjoys that when they play Sea of Thieves.
We have a lot of expression for players in the singular form on their own, but this is just taking that next step that gives us this self-expression for us and for a group of friends.
Sea of Thieves has always been about that social magic and being able to bring players together, and Guilds really allows players to take those connections that they make within a crew or those chance encounters within a session and turn them into something long-lasting and meaningful by joining a guild together.
Play it now with Game Pass.